Hey everyone, welcome to another session with me, Nona Gabby. I'm so glad to be here with you on this hot summer day. And speaking of summer, today we are going to be making one of my summer favorites, with one of my summer favorites, which is zucchini or summer squash. I think they're also called courgettes in some parts of the world, aka the UK. So I love zucchini, but if you don't, you can do this with any vegetable. You can do this with eggplant, greens, any sort of variation, mushrooms. But so I'll walk you through, and then I'll give you tips for if you want to swap out the zucchini, what else you can use. Okay, so we're gonna make some mini zucchini tartlets, and I have some what are these? These are little silicone muffin not tin, it's not a tin, but like muffin containers. And these are amazing because they're so easy to wash, they're reusable, and it makes for no stick everything. So I use these for savory muffins, sweet muffins, egg muffins, and zucchini tartlets. So we're gonna get started, and the first thing you'll need is some zucchini. So I like to do a mix of green and yellow because I like to explore all different colors of the rainbows. Oh, before you do anything, preheat your oven to 350 because we'll be baking these. I know you see I have a stove set up, but we're gonna be using it, but that's not gonna be the primary focus of cooking. So about 1.5 pounds of zucchini. I'm gonna use probably about, I'm actually going to start with these larger ones and see how it looks. So I'm just going to chop off the ends because I don't really eat these, although you can, but for the tartlet purposes, I'm not going to eat that. And then I have my garbage bowl, which I'll put over here so I could easily access it. And I'm just going to slice these into rounds. Alternatively, you could grate the zucchini, in which case you won't need to saute it so much before. Just to get that, just to like, you would have to do it for a really short period of time. So if you want to grate the zucchini, you can do that and go ahead and do that now. Otherwise, you'll be slicing your zucchini into little rounds like this, about 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch thick, not so thin, but thin enough because these are going to get like stacked up in the muffin tins. And if you don't have muffin tins, or if you don't have silicone liner, you can just do this in a regular Pyrex dish, square or rectangle. Depending on the size, it'll be thinner or thicker, and you'll just have to adjust the cooking time. So this is a really fun recipe. My mom would make things like this for me all the time. We do spinach, but zucchini was oftentimes the most popular. And so I have, this is one cut, and then I'm just going to cut the other one up. And I got these at the farmer's market the other day, and they are so good. I had some with breakfast this morning, and it's just so like, I love when you can get nice, fresh ingredients. And if you have access to a farmer's market or somewhere where you can get local produce, like these are in season, and it's the best time to get them. So highly recommend you getting these. And I think I'm actually going to cap it at these two, because they were kind of on the large end. All right. So we got these. So what's the plan with what we're going to do with them? So I'm going to heat some, well, this is a mixture of organic coconut oil and ghee. I actually got this from Thrive Market. They sent it for me. And if you guys don't know what Thrive Market is, it is a subscription-based grocery store. So kind of like a Costco where you have to subscribe, but you get, it's all organic, like great brands, like a lot of like non-GMO healthy brands are available on Thrive, but Thrive also makes their own products and occasionally will send stuff when you place an order. So this was an experimental thing that they sent over, and I love it because it's a mixture of my two favorite things, ghee and coconut oil. So I've been using it a lot in my cooking. So you're just going to heat a small amount in the pan. And then what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna turn this on like a low heat. And then you're gonna arrange the zucchini so that they are just, you don't want to crowd the pan. And what we're going to do is, I'm going to arrange them so that they're not too crowded, and we're just going to sear them on each side. So I'll move these aside, and we'll get chopping to our other stuff. So I have some cherry tomatoes that will also be going into these tartlets. You don't need to include them, but I like the tomato zucchini mixture, and I think summer is a great time to have some tomatoes. So I'm just going to cut them in half down the middle, and so we'll have those ready to go in to the mixture, but they're not going to go in until the very, very end. Oh, I'm like taking them in and out of the same bowl, so that's why I'm getting confused. I should have taken them all out. So about a cup of half cherry tomatoes. And if you find that the tomatoes are too big, then you can cut them smaller. I'm a fan of a big juicy tomato in these little tartlets. So what I'm going to do is just make sure they're cooking on each side, and you just want to flip them once, but this isn't hot enough yet, so I'm not going to flip it yet. And just be careful. Ideally, you have tongs for this situation. I'll show you what I'm doing. Ideally, you have tongs, but if not, that's okay. And then I'm just going to cut up I think I'll actually be fine with this amount of zucchini. Okay, so moving on, we have some parsley, so that's going to be part of the tartlets, and I'm just going to destem it. So I'm doing multiple things at once, which is how I like to get things done. Be efficient with my cooking, but also keeping an eye on whatever's going on over there. So I'm just going to take the leaves off the parsley, and that is the oven telling me I'm ready for you. So thank you, oven. And I'm just going to rip these off. And you can use your knife, but I don't know, I enjoy doing this. And it's about like 2 tablespoons of parsley. And now my zucchini is starting to sizzle, which is a sign that they need to be flipped, because you don't want to cook them too much because they're going to cook in the oven, just to get that raw taste out. And alternatively, you could, please don't do what I'm doing because I always burn myself, so use one hand or tongs. And try to resist the urge to use your other hand as the zucchini flipper. I am resisting so hard. I'm doing a good job. I'm like pinning my left hand down so I don't burn it, because I've burned myself a lot in the past few days. Okay. Alright. This one, was this one turned? No. And I have one more to turn, I think it looks like. So those are cooking, and then probably when I am done chopping this, I will flip the zucchinis over. So we're gonna chop the parsley pretty roughly. It doesn't need to be perfect. And then the other herb that's going into this, which I love, is thyme. So if you've been around for a while, you'll know that I love fresh herbs, and parsley is one of my favorites. I think I use it in almost every recipe. Well, it's not really, I don't really use it in recipes per se, because I end up just creating things from scratch when I'm cooking in the kitchen, but I always have parsley around, and I somehow manage to incorporate it into everything that I make for myself and eat, even if it's just like sprinkling a bunch of fresh parsley on my breakfast eggs because my mom told me that parsley promotes good digestion and fresh breath. So what better aid can you ask for in the morning? You know, gotta get that digestion. You don't want to have indigestion during the day, and you want to have fresh breath. So it's pretty awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna take these zucchini off, and then put some new ones on. See, and like you might get a little brown sear on one side, but if not, don't worry. Like you really don't want to cook these for that long, just to get the raw flavor out. And alternatively, I don't know if I said this before. If I did, I'll just repeat myself. You can blanch these. So what that means is boiling water, 2 minutes, and then transfer to cold water. But this is more fun, and I like sauteing. I love a good sauteed zucchini. And be careful again when you're adding these to the pan. Not to touch the pan. I one time just like stuck my hand. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, oh, let me see if the pan is hot. Oh, don't do that. It is hot. Okay, and then we're gonna prep our thyme. So I'm gonna use about a few sprigs of thyme and just the leaves from it. With fresh herbs and my measurements for the recipes, by the way, you can use as much or as little as you want. I always err on the side of more, so I oftentimes use more than what I suggest in my recipes, but that's because I'm an herb lover. Oops, careful. And I really can't get enough of fresh herbs. Some people don't like them so much, and are sensitive to some flavors that might be stronger, like cilantro, for example. But I love it. I love all of them. I haven't encountered an herb that I don't like. I can't even think of it. Oh, and if I didn't mention this about Thrive Market, if you don't have an account and want to check it out, I will post the link so you can get 25% off or $25. I forget what their current offering is. In the description of this video, so you can click on it, check it out, see if it's right for you, and if you want to subscribe, feel free to subscribe. And usually they have a promotion where you get like the first year free. I love it because it's a lot of dry goods, and those things are often, I live in New York City, and they're annoying to carry. And also you get a really good value for all of these products that, are available at Whole Foods, but you get them for a cheaper rate. I know Amazon now owns Whole Foods, so things have gotten cheaper. I don't know what the exact details are, but it's definitely worth a try. And so now I'm just flipping these over, and they also have a nice sear. Getting splash. Not fun. You need to invent some like anti-splat, like some glove that you wear when you're like working that doesn't impair your like dexterity when working over an open flame. If that makes sense. So like if I wore a glove now, I wouldn't have the same dexterity as I do now. But it's in the works. Maybe that'll be my next project. There's definitely a need for it. Okay, so about another minute on the other side. Probably when I finish de-stemming this time. The only thing about time that I don't like is you have to like, it's kind of labor intensive to get all the leaves off. Sometimes you can just go like this, but it doesn't always work because sometimes I end up breaking the stem. So you do what works. Like for this one it'll probably work. Oopsie, I broke the top off, but the bottom comes. And if you got a little bit of stem in it, no biggie, no biggie. Oh, loving this smell. And if you want to add some dry herbs, like if you don't have fresh herbs available, you can use herbs de Provence, which also have thyme in it, and oregano is great. Rosemary could be very delicious. All right, and I'm going to remove these onto my plate, and then have the last round of zucchini on. So see how we're multitasking, going back and forth to different things. So I just want to make this easy. This is something, these tartlets are great. You know, they're a little labor intensive in comparison to other recipes because you have the searing and then the baking. But the cool thing about these is like you make them in advance and they make for great snacks, great breakfast options, and just like little on-the-go meals. So this is something like it's a kind of a meal prep dish, but also like fun if you're hosting a brunch or have time on a Sunday to do these. It's really fun for kids because like anything you put in a cup, I think is always fun. Okay, so we have our herbs chopped. This is searing. The next thing I want to do is grate my cheese. So I've got some Gruyere cheese here from Murray's Cheese. Oops. Murray's Cheese is a local cheese shop in New York City that I love. And I'm just going to grate some of the Gruyere, but it has the rind, so I'm going to take the rind off. Let's see how this is going to work. So you want about a quarter cup of grated cheese. So I got the rind removed. Let's see. This is like a skinny piece of cheese, so we'll see how this grating process works. I have my grater, and it has this awesome little box thing underneath where I'm just going to grate it. I grate it on the larger side because I love getting like larger chunks of cheese. And if it's not perfect, you get some chunks in, that's also cool. Which I will definitely have some chunks because this is an interesting, when the guy was slicing it for me, he was like, oh, how much? And I told him, but then I saw how thin the piece was, even though it was the right amount of cheese that I wanted, but it just, was thin. But I love Gruyere. Alternatively, you can use cheddar. You can also use, what else? Mozzarella. Really whatever you want. But something that has a good grate and like a mild enough flavor where it'll taste yummy. Or like really any cheese, your favorite cheese. Or if you don't have dairy, you can supplement with a non-dairy cheese, like a soy cheese or nut cheese, or just omit the cheese completely and it'll be more of a frittata situation. Alright, so I'm going to put the rest of this cheese droppings. Alright, and this I like this because it tells you the measurement already. Okay, so then I've made a cheesy little mess over here. Move that aside. There you go. Clean up my chopping board, add the cheese. If any herbs get in it, it's okay too. Alright, so that's more closer to how grated cheese. Okay, so we're going to flip these over. Ooh, they got a little more scared. Oh, see, I'm doing it with my hands. It's really, I need to practice better self-control. Do not do this. Do not do what I'm doing. You know, when, like, on TV, they say, kids, don't try this at home. I know you're not kids. Do not try this at home. I'm not setting a good example. I'm working on it. That's why I'm holding on. I have to force myself to hold on to something to make it so that I don't stick my hand into the fire. My mom would be shaking her head right now. Good thing she's not watching. Okay. All right, these are all flipped. And then we are going to mix together our egg mixture. So, let me get this knife out of the way because we don't need that anymore. And clean up the area just a tad. And there we go. So, I'm going to put in this. So, this is a huge measuring cup. It holds about 4 cups. And I love it because it allows me to do things like pour eggy things into tartlet cups. So we're going to use 6 eggs. I'm just going to crack them directly into here. And you can use more. You can always scale up this recipe. And if you want to make it more eggy and not put it in the milk, you don't need to. It'll just come out more like a frittata. But the milk helps it like become more of a custardy tartlet thing. So up to you. If you don't do dairy, of course omit the milk, but you can also substitute with a non-dairy milk. Oat milk, almond milk is cool. Just make sure that if you are using a non-dairy milk, that it's not unsweetened. And then I'm going to add about 1.5 cups of the milk. Not about, exactly. And we're just going to whisk this together. And I'm using whole milk, grass-fed. I like the fat. You could also use a heavy cream if you're a dairy person. So you want to make sure that this is all mixed. And I'm going to turn off the heat on my zucchini because it's been enough time. And I'm going to add the tomatoes to it. So just so they get a little bit cooked and just toss it around. So it's going to be, the heat's off, so they're not going to cook much, but just to toss them on and just get the juices flowing. All right, and you want to mix this so that it's frothy. Oh, and I forgot a key ingredient. It's not a key ingredient, but some nutmeg. So nutmeg will bring out some really nice flavor in this tartlet. And then obviously we're going to season with salt and pepper. So just a few grinds of fresh pepper, some salt. So this is the only thing we're salting really. And the cheese is salty, so we're going to whisk that together. And then I'm going to add the herbs to this custard mixture. I'm also going to go quickly and grab the nutmeg, so bear with me. And we're going to use just a dash of nutmeg, okay? And I just like the flavor of it, really nice. And just stir that all together. Make sure that the yolks are completely broken apart and that it's like a nice, smooth, pale yellow. And then I'm going to dump all these herbs in and mix that in. Actually, I'll keep this like this. I'll make room for the baking sheet I'm going to use. So, like I said, if you don't have I'm trying to clean up a little. If you don't have these little cups or muffin tin available, that is totally fine. You can use a Pyrex. So that was some extra time that got away. So I just added it to the party so it didn't feel excluded. So I'm going to arrange a few of these cups. So I think it's going to make about 12. Let's see how many fit on here. So far 12 fit. And what I'm going to do is I want to mix. So I have my zucchini and my tomatoes in here, but I'm going to mix the rest of the zucchini in so we get an even distribution of zucchini and tomato. And you can just do this with just zucchini. I might even have some tartlets with just zucchini, and I'm just going to give it a little mix so it's like a salad, but the zucchini is still pretty hard. So now we're going to set it up. Okay. So you're just going to spoon some of this in, and the way I would arrange it is just have it so that there's some zucchini, some tomato, some everything. You can have some with some just plain zucchini if you have kids that are picky, you know, and only like tomatoes or only like a certain vegetable. So we want to distribute these evenly. And if you're doing this in a big, large pan, you can arrange it like that. But I aim for my zucchini to lie flat, if that's possible. So this way. And we're going to fill the cups to the best of our abilities. So I have some with tomatoes and some without tomatoes. These cups are a little small, so I could have cut the tomatoes a little smaller, but it's okay. It's all going to the same place. It'll be all good. And this is a great, I said this already, but I'm repeating myself. It's a great breakfast option for kids, moms on the go, anyone on the go, dads on the go, and you can just grab one or two in the morning and be on your merry way. So, and you can even put them in a sandwich, like for lunch, for dinner, for breakfast sandwich. New take on breakfast sandwiches. Okay, where can I stick you, tomato? And then I'll put this. Okay. So I've got my veggies arranged in the various cups. Next, I'm going to sprinkle the cheese evenly over these. And then we're going to put our eggs mixture. So veggies, cheese, egg. And try and aim for your cup. I'm making a mess and getting cheese everywhere. And it's a terrible shame because I don't like wasting, especially cheese. So we're putting the cheese, doing my best to salvage any cheese that fell. And the good thing about doing it in a square tin or a square Pyrex container is that whatever falls just gets into it. You don't lose any precious cheese. Okay, so oops, I missed a cup. So you want to just make sure that the cheese is evenly distributed. With me, some of them are going to be more cheesy, some of them are going to be less cheesy, because I'm human. All right, and then we are going to pour over our custard. So I'm going to give it one stir, and we're going to pour it over the cups, and we're going to do our best to fill. All right, so I've got some left over, but that's okay. I'm just going to use it for either making eggs in the morning or something else. Or I might just make more tartlets with it later. So these are going to go in the oven for about 30 minutes. If you're making them into cups like I am, I recommend checking them at 15, just the halfway mark, because sometimes, you know, depending on the size of your muffin tins or cups, might bake a little faster. Okay, so I'm gonna pop these in the oven and then show you what they look like. Hey everyone, so we had a little cleanup on set over here, and it's been about 20 minutes, and my zucchini tartlets are done. So see, they'll puff up. You can pull them out slightly before they puff up, but they puff up, they look great. They're probably going to taste great. They're very hot right now, so I'm not going to dig in. I'll show you a close-up of these. But they're just so pretty and cute. And like, then you can have them in the fridge for the week. And it's an alternative to having hard-boiled eggs in the fridge if you want to spice up the week a little bit. Sometimes people keep hard-boiled eggs just to have, you know, a go-to snack or a quick meal. Here it is. And then you got your veggies and your cheese woven in. So you're getting a little bit extra. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please comment below. You can also direct message me on Instagram at @thenonagabby. Please follow me if you make any of my recipes. Hashtag #thenonagabby so I can see them, and you can also tag #thenonagabby. If you want to be part of my Facebook group, it's also #thenonagabby. So I post new programs, classes, ideas, and just some fun recipes in there. And I am excited for you guys to try this recipe, and I can't wait to dig in myself. I'm going to wait a few minutes because it's still very hot. So enjoy. Thank you so much. Also, if you have not heard, I have a summer meal plan for purchase. So if you've been enjoying these recipes, the summer meal plan is geared towards people who want to get in their kitchen, cook more for themselves, make simple, easy recipes that don't take up that much time. So very similar to the stuff that we've been making, but it's organized into 4 weeks worth of meal planning. And you get about 30 recipes, and you get a shopping list for each week, and you can go on your own pace. So you can do 1 week, take a week off, or do all 4 weeks at once and then repeat it. So it's up to you how you want to navigate it, but if you want to check it out, you can head over to my website, nonagabby.com/summer2018. So I hope you check it out, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Let me know what you think, and if you think it's good for you or anyone you know, that would be awesome. Take care. Happy cooking. I will see you in the next video. Mwah. Enjoy the tartlets. I know I will.